You're listening to In the Lead, the podcast for real estate pros looking to grow their business. Whether you're new to the business or a seasoned pro, we come to you each week with the latest technology and online strategies to help you sell more, work less, and make a difference in your community through your real estate business. This show is brought to you by Easy Agent Pro, creators of Lead Sites, the ultimate lead generation website for agents. For show notes and links, check out easyagentpro.com/podcast. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. You are with us on the In the Lead podcast. Thank you so much for listening. It's going to be kind of I wouldn't say skeleton crew. One of our favorite guys, Alec, is sweating aggressively. He has to get an ebook done, so he will not be here with us. Tyler's been hounding him all day.
I don't hound people.
Robert has, Kelvin has, I've been hounding him. All of us have been hounding him to get the ebook. He is not here, but we do have the GQ model himself. Kelvin, how you doing today?
Hey, buddy.
Any fashion advice for us?
Is that a violation of their trademark mentioning on the podcast?
Is it?
I don't know.
Moment.
Got to get our lawyer.
We are not officially endorsed by GQ.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. We should be because we do have a model in here. His name is Kelvin. How you doing? Give us some fashion advice today. What colors are hot this time? Okay, good advice, Kelvin. Way to make it happen. Thank you.
I was like, I have nothing to say. I don't know what to say right now. On the spot.
All right, what's been going on with EAP with you, man? You putting out some blogs, putting out some ebooks. What are you doing?
Yeah, man. Focusing a lot on the video, the blogs, so much content to work on these last 2 weeks. It's just been so intense. But
good. That's good. That's what I like to hear.
We're really just trying to. Thanks, man.
Yeah, because you usually leave us in the dust and kind of let us hang there, so that's not cool.
Hey, I feel Alex pain. I was really stressing to get ebooks and blogs done the last week. So I was like, I can't do it. Tyler's going to yell at me.
Tyler does yell. See, it's not just me.
I do not
rest
yell.
My case.
He just aggressively anticipates the delivery.
Or he just aggressively nudges. Hey, did you get that blog done? Be a shame if you lost your job tomorrow because that blog wasn't done.
If only you guys knew. He really does do that. We all met up. Speaking of Tyler, we all met up for drinks finally. He flew his butt down here on a flight that I might add was only an hour and a half versus the 5-hour flight he put Kelvin and Robert through to go to Inman.
Wasn't that 8 hours?
Nonchalantly flew down.
Yeah, it was 12.
A whole day.
Tyler flew down here. He bought me a beer, and he said if I don't drink it, I'm fired. True story.
That's not true.
Alternate story. It happened. We also have, speaking of Tyler, we do have him in here. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm doing great this morning, or afternoon now. Wow. Yeah, really flew by. We met up with the whole team this week and got some cool stuff shipping tonight and tomorrow, which means you'll have it by the time you actually listen to this, so probably shouldn't use those words. But yeah, it's been a great week. Got some cool stuff rolling out.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear, man. Super, super excited. And then we also have Mr. Smith. That's your nickname from here on out, man. How you doing? What are you up to today?
Having a great day. Just getting to push a nice update. We're releasing Facebook landing pages today, so that's super cool. One-click leads.
Yeah.
I know everyone in Zillow has been kind of demanding it, and we're happy to see what agents can do with it. Hopefully get some leads.
And I just want to defend Robert's honor because this morning easyagentpro.com isn't on a lead site yet, and it needs to be because this whole morning I was writing HTTP posts with Twilio so that when people fill out a landing page, we can send them an auto text. And now Robert today is literally shipping something that someone can click a button, give you their thing, and you can text them and you can set that up in 5 minutes. It took me 5 hours to do what you're going to be able to do in 5 minutes. It's crazy.
Boom. Awesome. Well, great job, Robert. That's what we like to hear. Awesome. Awesome. All right, so this is going to be a nice, short, sweet little podcast for you guys. We're not going to go in depth on too much stuff. There were some pretty decent questions in the Beat Zillow group, as well as the Ask Us section for the podcast. So I'm just going to jump right into it. The first one I want to talk about, we had this lovely lady. Her name's Karin. She was on our podcast last week. Fantastic podcast. If you haven't listened to it, take a listen. She actually generated a lead, turned that lead into a client, and then sold a house to that client. So, from start to finish, she's been very successful. and she always asks us some great questions. And the first one that she asked was, I would like tips on how to record using green screen technology. I have a green background and an app that lets me choose different backgrounds, but they all look fake, and I have a green halo around my head. She says it looks so awesome. I'm assuming she's joking about that. Tyler, you're the one with the green screen experience, so if you could jump in on that one and answer that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so green screen's been around for a long time. It's how they make all those scary movies and cinematic effects. But if you're looking at the things that you can have on your computer or your phone to do the removal of the green, basically After Effects is the only one. Maybe you can get a Premiere, but it's pretty intense. Like, you need like a new, like within a year or two computer, and it's still going to take you a couple, probably 10 minutes per export for every 1 minute of like recorded thing. So if you have a 10-minute thing, it's going to take you probably an hour or something. So it's pretty intense. But basically how it works is you stand in front of a background that is all one color, probably blue, probably green, and then you wear something. What you're wearing can't have that color. You set up some light so it's pretty evenly lit, and then record it with your phone or with a DSLR. I use a Canon. And then you put that on your computer, put it into, I use After Effects. I pull out all the green, and then the photo subscription thing we use is Big Stock because it gives us like 10 a day for a great price. I downloaded a couple backgrounds there, put it behind me, blur it out. We don't really do it anymore simply because it did take forever. To do. So we find a nice place to sit and just like I tell Kelvin, go make a park and bark video where you park somewhere and bark at the camera. Stole that from opera, just saying in opera. But what you basically do is you just strip out that green. And so like you said, like iMovie sucks at stripping out the green. What are some other ones? Camtasia kind of stinks at it. ScreenFlow kind of stinks at it. The only good one that I found that consistently removes nearly all the green perfectly is After Effects.
Awesome. I think that's a great answer. Kelvin has a really good answer too that I like to see because I saw it firsthand. What's that, Kelvin?
No, I was just going to say After Effects as well. And if you want to get After Effects, Karin, Adobe does have their cloud offering, the Creative Cloud, and I think it's around $30 to $40 a month to be able to use any of their services. So even if you just need After Effects, it's not that bad for that type of price. So I would definitely look into that.
Yeah, that's
well. And as a company, we've switched to just using butcher paper on a wall. You'll go check out Calvin's Red videos. That's literally, if you can get the same shade as your company, as your brand logo, there's no reason why that wouldn't work, you know. And then you can actually cut it with shots of you outside somewhere, parking and barking, like Ty said. And then you have like kind of a rich color for your thumbnail when it shows on Google, and it looks professional still.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was the biggest motivation. It's so much easier because how long did it take to render a video that you used a green screen?
It would take a very long
8 hours.
time. So
it's like
8 hours. No, not 8 hours. It'd probably take an hour for every 10 minutes. So basically, what you'd do is you'd have to record it. Then you'd have to either you can set it up in your basement or somewhere out of the way if you want it to, I guess. And then you could leave it set up. But if you're tearing that down and setting it up every time and then getting the wrinkles out and setting up the lights, you're never going to have success with it because you got to have those lights exactly positioned. So when I was doing it daily, I'd hit set up and I wouldn't move the lights. I wouldn't move the green screen. I wouldn't even move the camera. I would stand in front of it, record, stop recording, strip the SD card out of the camera, throw it in my Mac, and then it was pretty consistent because I was always set up. So if you are going to do it, I would recommend finding a room or a basement or somewhere where you can leave it 100% set
That's
up.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee you,
it's a lot better, Chris, because you can't have any light on the green screen because then it's going to be discolored and you're going to have green halo. So the basement's actually one of the better places.
Exactly. The green halos from
my mentality. My mentality with it is this: Robert already nailed it. I think he nailed it with a hammer aggressively on this one. It's you can spend $100 to $500 on green screen technology, pay a monthly thing for it, or you can go buy some butcher paper for $3 at your local Hobby Lobby and rotate it out per the season. You still get the same effect. It still looks professionally done. You don't have to worry about lighting as much. And like you said, cut to shots where you're outside and stuff like that.
I'd even
That's
do
my
chairs
general
in living rooms where you're like blurring out the background just by.
Well, that's the best part.
Not even production blur.
And when you're an agent, your relevant background is in a house. So you can literally film it in any house. You could film it during an open house or just anywhere that looks nice and it looks relevant and you're talking about houses. I think it's a pretty easy one for background.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you did want a green screen, Tyler gave you some really great answers about that. And let us know what it looks like too. If any of you folks do use green screens, let us know so we can take a look at them and see what your setup is, what your rig's all about. Because Kelvin's is pretty in depth just for butcher paper. It looks pretty sweet, so I can't imagine it with a green screen. So I think that's a great question. You guys want to chime in any more on it?
I'm good. If you're really adamant about it, check out Creative Cloud, get After Effects. That's the best way to do it. But there are easier ways.
I wholeheartedly agree. I'm waiting for hey, how do you guys podcast? That's going to be my favorite.
Well, and it goes back to which one are you going to be able to do consistently? Do you really want to spend hours and hours exporting and editing video all the time, or would you rather just get some volume out there and have kind of more videos that are a little bit less quality, but still sending traffic and achieving the goal of them?
Exactly. I completely agree. It only takes me about 15 minutes to 20 minutes max now to export my videos. So just cutting that time off.
We should have a Knights of the Round Table judgment on our red background. Should we keep it or change it a different color? Make Kelvin.
It's seasonal.
That's what I'm saying. I think it should be seasonal. I think it'd be really cool. Or at least do it to green,
Yeah, I do need to order. I'll order another color. I got these.
I'll go buy it for you after this podcast, right down the road for $2.
Well,
done.
At Hobby Lobby, all they had was black, yellow, and red. And just because of color, just for making it, red's already kind of hard to edit and post, but it works the best. Right. Black and yellow were really messing with the lighting.
See, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, man.
Let us know about the green screen. Great question, Karen. We loved it. Tyler, thank you for the fantastic answer. Kelvin and Robert chimed in as well. We'll move on to the next one. This one's from Justin. He asked, with all the great content on this page, I'm sure it's been talked about before, but I want to ask again. I'm finding that online leads don't know me, don't trust me, and don't really want anything to do with me. Man, that's the story of our lives too. So, from the information that I have gathered over the past few months of reading EAP information, it's to provide great blog content with neighborhood Instafarm pages or video content to build trust. When people request information from Zillow, that potential buyer is almost expecting a call from the agent that they are requesting information from. So I find that trust is easily gained through that method and doesn't need as much converting. I'm trying to duplicate that. Can you share a few suggestions on how to create a squeeze page or sort that, or I can't even talk, on how to create a squeeze page that sort of has the buyer expecting a call from me or giving their contact information. Kelvin, marketing master, take it away.
So first, I wouldn't necessarily, it seems like you want to shift your focus away from having to work on building trust, and I think that that's a mistake. I think building trust's important. And you're preaching to the choir here. On all the ads we run and all the content we've run, there's been so many comments and so many people that have just been so skeptical of what we do and the nature of the company. And what I can say is one of the biggest changes that we made was when we made that huge shift to video. That's when we really started seeing those barriers break down. So I would really focus on continually adding that content, working more on implementing video into your marketing strategy, because that's a huge tool when it comes to establishing trust. And don't allow building trust to fall by the sidelines. I think that would be a big mistake. But in terms of what landing page setup you could be doing, Tyler and I were actually talking about the Meet Your Agent landing page that is one of the current squeeze page templates. That's a very great setup for probably incentivizing something along those lines. Other than that, I would be focusing on building up squeeze pages and Facebook ads that focus on giving away content, and then make sure you're doing a redirect to a thank you page where the content is then provided via email. That way there is an incentive for people to be giving you correct information. And just along the lines of fake information, I think the new feature coming out with squeeze pages when it comes to automatically opting in via Facebook, I think that's going to help just because of how easy it is to, opt in immediately. But I think those are the best ways to actually approach that question. I think
that's really well answered. I do want to continue on this, how to weed out fake.
Yeah, I disagree. So I think
like
Kelvin gave a good, but I would say it a little differently, I guess. I don't know if it's disagreeing or not, but I would say there are 3 things that you need in business, and he's kind of saying online, but whatever. So you need traffic, so that can either be to a site or in front of your storefront. Then you need some reason for them to know, like, or trust you, and then you need to convert them at some point. So you need to work on all those 3 things, and it sounds like right now there's no reason for anyone to know, like, or trust you based on what they can find on you online. So What we did is Easy Agent Pro, the way we run our ship is by focus. The first thing we focused on for a year was traffic. How can we get to 100,000 people visiting the site? For an entire year, that's all we talked about. We were auto-posting to social. We were doing everything you're not supposed to do because we didn't care about that. We didn't care about trust. We didn't care about community. We cared about traffic. And then we shifted to caring about, and then what you have is you have a bunch of people driving past your storefront, but you're like, damn, I'm not, no one knows me. And then you can work on the things like face-to-camera video. That builds trust. That means basically, you can look at it as, because realtors, everyone is really transactional. So you can look at every video you put online that you can then put in front of your leads. Maybe you put a video on a thank you page after they opt in. You have a landing page and then it goes to a thank you page and you put a video with your face on it. That's going to build trust. So every one of those videos you make, it means your leads are going to get better and better over time. And the better you get at that middle of the funnel or that trust building part of the funnel, the more there are of people out there who are like, oh, I know, like, and trust that company. I'm going to do business with them. And you grow that stockpile of you can call it an investment or capital or whatever you want to call it. It's just that goodwill that's out there. Those people are going to do business with you in the future. And so I think you have to focus on it that way and focus on making that conversion or trust building material outside of if I make this video, I'm going to get a lead. Because if you never break out of that mold, you're never going to have enough traffic and you're never going to have enough free goodwill stuff out there to then get to the point where people just want to do business with you.
Right. Robert, do you want to chime in on that? I thought that was
yeah. So when you're starting out in anything, you're in a position where you don't have the necessarily trust and credibility yet, and you're kind of in a place where you have to overcompensate to prove yourself. So I would say first start with your mindset you're going into this with. You can't be worried that, people aren't going to want to talk to you. They're not interested. You can ask 100 people on the street if they'd be interested in talking about, buying a home. And chances are they're probably all going to say no. And yet we have 8 million agents in America. These guys, they need to do business and it's a very necessary service. So don't go in the mindset you're wasting their time by calling them. You can't be afraid to do that, And on top of that, it's just more important than ever when you're starting out to lead with value over the ask. You're in a you really need to be quick to respond on top of things, extra knowledgeable, and you can't have as many slip ups as maybe a more experienced agent who has just flows of referrals coming in and he uses an email only system. You really have to get physical with it and manage, kind of prove yourself. And then as a side effect of that, eventually you'll have referrals. Eventually you'll make great impressions and have a pool of people that can validate you and make it easier to do online. So that's kind of my 2 cents on top of everything Ty and Kelvin said.
Absolutely. Kelvin, are you happy with do you want to respond to Tyler's argument? No. I guess it's not even really an argument.
No, it wasn't an argument. I think we were both pretty much on par with that one.
I think it's great. I mean, and that's the thing to answer, to kind of talk a little bit more about Robert's idea as well. You are taking those extra steps to go above and beyond, and that just makes you look 10 times better than that guy who just leads loads of referrals, right? He's already done that process. But if you have this, I would say don't go in with the mindset I have to work hard now to work less later. It should be that you should want to work hard all the time because you want to be the best you can be. And start off by, going above and beyond. So I agree with everything that you guys said. I think it's fantastic. The quality of your profession will make you look 10 times more better than any other agent out there. That's all I really have to say about it personally. Yeah. But no, absolutely, I think that's great. Man. Great question, Justin. Thank you for that. The final question we have today was from Jeff Peterson. He asked if he was curious if anyone has experimented with the time of day for postings to Facebook groups. Have you found that posting in the morning, afternoon, or evening draws in more traffic? Robert, the numbers man, go ahead and take it away, my friend.
Okay, so I even double checked before the podcast, so I wasn't giving out bad data. You gotta do that if you're gonna quote stuff. But you can go read like I probably 12 studies about best time of day to post to Facebook. It's not exactly in groups because you don't have those analytics. Only the group person would. But you can do it a couple ways. But basically, everyone said different times. E-commerce said Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like analytics, like there's varied answers, but they can all agree on basically 9 in the morning, 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and then at night. And those are those are high traffic times after lunch, before dinner, where you're probably killing time and surfing on Facebook. And you can actually do this. And the easiest way to get it quick, if you have enough likes on Facebook and fans on your group page, you can actually go into your Facebook analytics and see what your most popular time of the day is for actions on your Facebook. You can also do kind of the same thing on Google Analytics and go see where your traffic's coming from and what time it's arriving at. So, but that's kind of like, you just got to figure it out for yourself. And I think the major key is just to stay consistent. Like, I know we've played around a lot, and I think I'd say, what would you say, Calvin? It's a marginal impact on our numbers, right? By adjusting the time.
It is. It's surprisingly noticeable. So right now, 4:30 to around 6:30 is the range that I want to consistently be posting at on a daily basis. And we took a lot of time to actually figure that number out and really narrow it down. I was posting early in the morning, I was posting really late at night, and then narrowing it in. And we just spent a couple of weeks adjusting the time until we saw, hey, posts between this time range, this specific time frame are getting much higher reach, better engagement, and then we just got to start posting there consistently. So it is something you have to experiment with.
Let me ask you this, Kelvin. Does it matter about what type of content you post? Like, does other content do better at a specific time? Video, blog article, podcast, something like that?
Yeah, it does. Our videos will, even just posted at the exact same time, our videos always outperform our blogs in terms of reach, in terms of engagement. That's just how it is. That's just the nature of the climate of what social media is demanding in terms of content.
Right.
So video will always outperform other standard content.
The other thing that really helped us was consistency. Because I know when we were first getting started, we missed a day or two. And anytime you miss a day on your cadence, it really it impacts the next day's views that you get organically too.
Even long term. I mean, we all know the analytics and numbers for the podcast. I mean, we skipped maybe like a month. So what is that? 2-3 podcasts, and it dipped aggressively low. And then we started being more consistent, and now we have these numbers that continue to rise for the podcast. We're not changing really anything about the format of it. We're just, like Tyler and Kelvin and Robert have said, we're just consistent with it now. We post it every Monday, and our numbers are rising. They continue to rise. So I just want to chime in with that as well.
Yeah, consistency is extremely beneficial to you across all platforms that you're using. So figure out that time, like Robert said. There's numbers that are going to be floating around out there, and those might be a little distracting to you. Take time to experiment with your own audience, figure out what time works for you, and then post.
And I would say consistent first, because you're never going to figure out a good time until you do an activity over time as a control.
Until you do it, right?
So you need to develop that control and say, okay, so if I post every day, then I end up getting 30 hits a day to my website at this time. And now you can say, okay, these next 2 weeks, I'm going to do it at 5 o'clock. I'm going to do it at 9 o'clock, and see what actually happens. But if you don't have a control that you're actually testing and you're doing a bunch of stuff at once, you're not going to get good data that's really helpful for you.
That's a good point. And what you can do too is, and this is what I did with when I first started managing the Facebook page, was I went into the insights page, and I actually went months and months back and tallied up how different posts were performing. Because there was crossover in terms of posts being put up at different times. So if you've already had an active posting schedule, go back, look at all of the different engagements from all the different times, see which ones are all either at the same time or in a similar time range, and see where you seem to have the most activity. That's also somewhere you could start.
Right. Absolutely. thank you guys so much for sitting in. I mean, it's a super short, sweet podcast loaded with tons of information. I thought the questions were fantastic this week. We really appreciate you guys taking a listen to us. Hopefully, you get some help and the questions are answered from the horses' mouths at this point. Tyler, Kelvin, and Robert. Unfortunately, Alec wasn't in here to chime in, but it's okay because he probably wouldn't listen anyways, so we're still going to give him some crap. And then, with that said, thank you guys so much for sitting in with us. If you do have any questions for the podcast, go ahead and send us a help support ticket saying you listened to us and how awesome we sound. And then ask us what our favorite color is, what our favorite food is, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can actually go to, we set up a page for that. It's easyagentpro.com/ask, A-S-K, and you can put any question in there and it'll be answered. Well, not any question. Keep it real estate related.
There you go. We can keep it corralled into that one little corner, which would be great. But we also do have a Twitter as well, and it's just at EasyAgentPro, or you can send us an email to support@EasyAgentPro as well. Once again, my name is Chris. Thank you so much for sitting in with Tyler, Kelvin, and Robert and myself, and we will be chatting with you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Later. Oh, it sounds so enthusiastic, Tyler. God.
All he said was later. He's just dropping the mic.
Thank you for listening to In the Lead. If you have enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher and leave us an honest review. For more great content, check out our blog at easyagentpro.com. And as always, we'll see you later.